In 1954, a freelance journalist published a short, wisecracking book called How to Lie with Statistics. It sold over 1 million copies by teaching the public to view data as a cynical game full of swindlers, cheats, and stage magic. But that exact same year, 2 British researchers used a rigorous statistical study to prove the link between heavy smoking and lung cancer. Their meticulous data cut through decades of cultural blind spots and saved tens of millions of lives. Tobacco executives realized they had a problem. To protect their profits, they didn't need to prove cigarettes were safe. They only needed to muddy the waters by funding decoy research and questioning the math. A secret industry memo captured the strategy perfectly. Doubt is our product. We have fully absorbed that manufactured doubt. Today, when we encounter a number that challenges our worldview, we often wave it away as fake news or statistical manipulation. We find reasons to believe nothing. Reflexive cynicism leaves us blind. To actually navigate a complex world, we have to stop shrinking from the numbers and learn to read them. We have to become data detectives, armed with 3 core investigative rules. In 1937, Abraham Bredius, the preeminent scholar of Johannes Vermeer, examined a newly discovered canvas and declared it to be the master's finest work. Look at Girl with a Pearl Earring to see actual Vermeer mastery. The delicate light, the luminous detail. The canvas Bredius authenticated possessed none of those qualities. It was a crude, awkward forgery, hardened with industrial plastic. So why did the world's most discerning critic certify a painting that looked nothing like a real Vermeer? The forger had set a psychological trap. Bredius possessed a lifelong theory that a young Vermeer had painted religious scenes, inspired by Caravaggio. The forger simply painted the exact missing link Bredius had spent his life hoping to find. Psychologists call this motivated reasoning. When we want a specific conclusion to be true, our desires hijack our intellect. Bredius's immense expertise became a liability, allowing him to invent sophisticated excuses for the painting's obvious flaws. We do this every day with data. When a statistic threatens our political partisanship, we scour the methodology looking for any excuse to reject it. When a chart flatters our worldview, we swallow it without a second thought. That brings us to Rule 1. Search your feelings. Before you scrutinize the math behind a claim, pause and interrogate your emotional response. Notice if you are straining to reach a conclusion. If you commute on the London Underground, your physical experience tells you exactly how busy the network is. You are squeezed against the doors, fighting for air on a train with a crush capacity of over 1,000 people. But the official data paints a different picture. This chart compares that massive 1,000-person capacity against Transport for London's recorded average occupancy, which sits at a shockingly low 130 passengers. The math resolves the paradox. A tiny fraction of hyper-crowded rush-hour trains carry the vast majority of all commuters. Meanwhile, most of the physical trains run largely empty during the off-hours, when no one is around to witness them. The economist Muhammad Yunus describes this as the gap between the worm's eye view and the bird's eye view. The commuter's claustrophobic experience is entirely real, but it only captures a highly localized slice of reality. Rule 2. Ponder your personal experience. What you see with your own eyes is valid evidence, but you must balance that local reality against the broad bird's-eye perspective of the dataset. Compare the infant mortality rate of the United States to a country like Finland, and the American rate appears twice as high. You can even find similar alarming gaps between identical hospital networks serving the exact same demographics. You might assume one group of doctors is failing, but the culprit is often legal paperwork. One jurisdiction records the tragedy of a 22-week pregnancy as a live birth followed by an early death. Another hospital counts that exact same event as a late miscarriage. This is the trap of premature enumeration. You can never accurately calculate the math until you rigidly define what is actually being counted. Vague definitions corrupt all kinds of data. A terrifying headline about total gun deaths usually includes tens of thousands of suicides. A political proposal to freeze unskilled labor might use a salary threshold that rules out trained nurses and teachers. Rule 3. Avoid premature enumeration. Before you argue over whether a trend line is going up or down, you must define the words at the top of the spreadsheet. Interrogate your emotions. Contextualize your personal experience. Define the terms. This is how those scientists in 1954 cut through the tobacco industry's manufactured doubt. They didn't rely on gut feelings or cynical dismissals. They carefully defined what to count, tracked the data patiently, and let the facts lead them to the truth. Statistics provide us with an optical instrument, a powerful tool designed to bring the hidden patterns of our reality into focus. Like a telescope, data requires a trained eye to align the lenses and the courage to look at what they reveal. By abandoning our cynicism and applying these 3 rules, statistics grant us the extraordinary power to finally make a chaotic world add up.